Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, a thought leader's perspective on what the automotive industry teaches us about leadership and gender. One of her advocacy, none other than Miss Michelle Pippin.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Miss Michelle. I'm Book 101 Review, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely. So, I am a leader in the automotive industry. It's an industry where women are severely underrepresented. As a matter of fact, did you know that only 1.4% of all automotive technicians are women?
Hmm.
So, I represent women. I teach about women in leadership in male dominated industries, and I study it as well.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Michelle. Thank you. And today let's talk about what automotive industry gets right about leadership that others miss. Let's start with the counterintuitive hook. The automotive industry is not just a typical held as a leadership beacon. What is the fundamental misunderstanding about this industry that causes others to overlook its profound leadership lessons?
Well, when you think about the automotive industry, Daniel, what do you picture? What kind of careers do you picture?
Or handling these cars,
Hmm.
fixing the car itself. What else?
Right. Yeah. Well, the automotive industry is a whole ecosystem in itself. There are so many career paths, including financial and leadership and advertising, and there's everything from blue collar jobs to white collar jobs. And we're missing out on all of those career paths as far as recommending them for students to pursue higher education. And we are especially missing out on women talent in the entire automotive industry. The automotive industry has a lot to teach us about grit and determination, team resilience, and reliance on one another. That's a really big aspect right there.
Yes, definitely. And Miss Michelle, you argue that the industry gets something right that others miss. Is it a specific mindset, a process discipline, or structural approach to problem solving that's unique to building a complex integrated machines at scale?
In today's world, too many times we focus on individual attributes and what you can bring individually to the table to solve problems, to create new things. The automotive industry really focuses on relational intelligence and relational problem solving. You really have to be able to reach across the aisle and work with people in other facets of your industry in order to solve problems in real time creatively. A lot of the times when we're solving problems in the automotive industry, it's a matter of life and death. We've got several thousand-pound machinery suspended in the air. We've got to be able to think on our feet, collaborate, and come together in our relationships that we build over time. So it's really about leaning on each other.
Yes. Unity for sure, unity and unite. How does relentless focus on precision engineering translate from the factory floor to the leadership corner? What does it mean to engineer team culture or strategy?
It means knowing your team really well. You've got to be intimate with your team. You need to know not just what's happening on the shop floor, but what's happening in each of those individuals' lives because we are not, too often we say leave your home life at home and leave your work life at work. But the last time I checked, none of us was able to separate ourselves into two people. We bring our whole self with us everywhere we go. And so it's really important that you're in tune with everything that's going on with your team. If you've got an employee who's dealing with some pretty intense things at the home front, then you know he's going to be bringing that into the workplace, and to be able to coach him through those issues and bring out the best in him, even when he's got some suffering happening at the house. And to know when it's okay to pull back and when it's okay to charge forward. You've got to be able to take that temperature, take the pulse of your team at any given moment, and be ready to pivot and take a different direction. In my teams, I call it my playbook, right? Like in sports, you've got a playbook, and you need to know when I'm going to pivot from this set of plays to this set of plays based on what I have happening in the shop.
Interesting, Ms. Michelle. So, how does the relentless focus on precision engineering translate from the factory floor to something automotive industry mastered the art of integrated supply machine?
How does so you've got to we count on the factory floor. That's a relationship that we don't see frequently. However, we're counting on those folks to come alongside and do their part as well. When we receive the vehicle or the parts, that we are counting on the factory floor having used precision engineering to do their job. What we then do is take that precision engineering and we come together and we solve problems. A lot of Let's take a lot of the cars that my technicians are seeing, for example, are older model vehicles, and they're no longer manufacturing the parts. So what we need to do is come together as a team, use problem solving and adaptability, and learn as we do, right? We need to become one with the vehicles, become one with the technicians, and solve problems in real time as they occur. We've got to be precise in everything we do. Our leadership movements, our technical movements all have to be in sync, and it has to be in sync all the time because people's lives are at stake. We've got the possibility of, if we do something wrong, then maybe somebody's vehicle is not going to stop on the highway. We're going to cause an accident. So we take everything that we do very seriously.
The famous practice where any line worker can stop production.
You can't make the most of your data if it's stuck in different silos. If it's scattered across the cloud, on-prem, and with your apps, then it's hard to access, hard to work with, and increasingly expensive. Now you can see it all and manage it all from one place. Welcome to Data Done Right. You can start managing your data, not your infrastructure. It's unified, simple, secure, and it's only with a Pure Storage platform. Get started at purestorage.com. You can't make the most of your data if it's stuck in different silos. If it's scattered across the cloud, on-prem, and with your apps, then it's hard to access, hard to work with, and increasingly expensive. Now you can see it all and manage it all from one place. Welcome to Data Done Right. You can start managing your data, not your infrastructure. It's unified, simple, secure, and it's only with a Pure Storage platform. Get started at purestorage.com.
Action to fix a defect. What does it teach about psychological safety, empowering frontline voices, and the leader's role in prioritizing quality over the speed in real time?
Absolutely. That's a really important point. And psychological safety is where women really thrive in leadership, and where when I see a woman in the automotive industry really stepping into her own and becoming a strong leader of her teams, it's because she's able to create this psychological safety quickly. And that's really important. The automotive industry sadly has a 90% turnover rate right now. And what does that mean? It means you're constantly seeing new team members. You've got new team members that you have to integrate into the group quickly. You've got to get them acclimated, you've got to get them onboarded, and most importantly, you've got to get them to trust you implicitly. And so any one of our team members has to be able to say, wait, this is not going to end well. We've got to step back, pause, reassess, and choose a different path. And in my teams, we do that every day. It is up to all of us to keep everything at 100%. And if there's a defect in any part of our work, we've got to be able to say, hey, let's discuss this. Let's come back, make a plan, and come back stronger and go a different route.
Things stronger. That's what I like too, Miss Michelle. Kaizen and continuous improvement is a religion in auto manufacturing. How does this mindset of countless small incremental improvements differ from the big disruptive innovation focus of tech? And why is it more sustainable leadership model for most organizations?
We really have a strong reliance on team in the automotive industry. And this is anywhere from manufacturing to sales to service to leadership. You really have a team reliance there. And we've got that incremental improvement ingrained in our brains because we always want to do better. And it's not even necessarily pressures from higher leadership or, the company wanting us to hit certain numbers because, we have to make profits. So of course we have to hit those numbers. But a real team, a team that has really bonded and that feels psychologically safe, they grow outside the bounds of what's expected of them. And they themselves develop the mindset of incremental improvements. And I see it in my teams every day. They want to be just a little bit better. And how can we do this? And we have every day, we have morning meetings and we collaborate. And what can we do today that's going to make us better tomorrow? And training, Daniel. We've got to always be educating ourselves because vehicles are changing every day. We have to stay on top of that. Well, you're muted, Daniel.
Indeed, training. So, Miss Michelle, what is or automotive leaders make billion-dollar decisions with multi-year lead times in a clinical competitive market? What does that take about strategic patience, long-term vision, and managing the tension between immediate quarterly pressure and decade-long product cycles?
I can't stress the importance of communication enough. Our teams have to know where we're going and why we're going there. And so, for an effective leader to drive change and improve processes over time so that we're hitting those goals and getting stronger and stronger and larger, we have to be able to paint that picture. We have to be honest and genuine. We have to be charismatic, and they have to trust us. So if I'm able to paint that picture of here's where we're going, here's why I think we should go this way, and here's the outcome that I'm projecting for us, my team, who I've built psychological safety with, will say, yeah, heck yes, we want to go that way. Let's head for that direction. And then if we fall short of those goals, we're able to then discuss that, come together, collaborate, and determine what we're going to change so that we can continue on that path.
Ms. Michelle, how does the industry's brutal accountability for safety recalls instill a unique culture and responsibility and transparency in leadership that others where mistakes or less physical tangible often lack?
When your hands are directly on the product, it's impossible to pass the buck to somebody else. You are directly responsible for the safety, security, and maintenance of these products. And so your because you're so involved directly with the outcome, you're really going to put your best foot forward, and you're going to count on your team. You're going to come together. Communication, it all comes back to teamwork, communication, and psychological safety, Daniel. These teams are strongly bonded, and they work together from day one to solve problems and to make sure that everybody is safe at the end of the day. You're muted.
Sorry for that. The concept of the balance stacking, where tiny errors across hundreds of parts create catastrophic failure. How does this translate to leadership vigilance on small cultural misalignments or process of deviations that can snowball?
It's a complex problem, Daniel, and I've seen it time and again where in teams where there's a lack of communication, a lack of psychological safety, where there's a leader that's misguided and is pursuing their own interests over the interests of the greater good. And what happens in my experience in those situations is that these tiny errors compound upon themselves. And before you know it, you've got a monster problem that you're facing. Whereas if you've got that sense of Kaizen, that sense of, I see this small error, I'm going to speak up now and we're going to correct it while it's still manageable, that the outcomes of teams that participate in the problem solving are so much greater than the teams that are afraid to speak up. They have the fear of being judged or being misunderstood, or the leadership ego gets in the way, and it's my way or no way. Again, it just comes down to communication, psychological safety, and teamwork.
Talent development and technical mastery. The industry relies on deep, respected technical expertise at all levels. How does this cult of competence shape leadership development differently than industry that prioritize general management or charismatic visionaries?
A lot of folks in the automotive industry learn on the job. Many people grow up working on cars in the backyard with grandpa or dad, but they don't always attend a formal training program. So a lot of times we get very novice employees. And so what we've had to do is develop in my teams a way of kind of growing our own expertise. And we search far and wide for the best programs for our technicians, for our sales staff, for our leaders, and we put them through rigorous training. And we have this culture of constant learning. Our technicians are constantly coming together and saying, hey, I came across this training and I think it would be great for us to do. And then the whole team will take the training. This is especially problematic for women that join the industry because sadly they're not encouraged to go to trade schools, or they're not in the backyard working on vehicles with their male relatives. So they enter this industry with no experience at all, and they're kind of thrown into it. And I found that by working very closely with people that are novices to the field and training them as we go, that there is incremental learning that stacks and stacks and stacks, and they gain this self-efficacy in their role, and they seek out more and more training, and it's just little incremental growth over time really yields great expertise. Whereas in other industries, we're counting on degrees and certificates, and that's often the end of the education.
Ms. Michelle, what are your short term and long term goals?
My short-term goal is I'm finishing a doctoral program, and my dissertation is in women in the automotive industry and what brings them in and why they stay and how they succeed. So in the short term, I would like to learn more about that. I want to be able to reproduce female success in male-dominated industries. I think that it's important to balance the scales, especially since women make 75% of the buying decisions in the automotive industry. So we ought to have them represented in all facets of the industry. Long term, I would like to very much working on developing a behind the scenes so far company that I'm calling Empowering Leaders, in which I have a mentorship program for women in male dominated industries so that they are brought up to speed with their male counterparts quicker, as far as what they can learn and who they can learn from.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Michelle. I'm looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Take the chance. When you see an opportunity in front of you and it seems out of this world, it's not something you would have considered. I certainly never considered working in the automotive industry, and I've never been happier. So if you want to lead in an industry that wasn't really designed for you, give it a try. Give it your all and never stop learning.
Give a try, people. And try until you succeed. So,
Indeed.
Miss Michelle, what will be your recommended books or book that influenced your journey?
Brene Brown. So, Dare to Lead had a great influence on my leadership journey. And her latest book, which is, hold on, I've got it right here. Strong Ground by Brene Brown. Oh, if you want to learn what you're made of as a leader, go seek out Brene Brown. Her newest book, Strong Ground. Can't say enough about that.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss Michelle. Thank you, thank you. So, how does this high stake zero defect mentality balance with the need of psychological safety and the permission to fail fast, which drives innovation in the other sectors?
Well, Daniel, you can't really take one without the other. You've got to have that psychological safety. If you don't feel like you are able to speak up about a defect, if you don't feel like you can make a difference in your team by saying, hey, we've really got a problem here, we've got to address it, and here's what I think we should do, then that silence is going to reverberate throughout the entire team, and those problems are going to stack up. It's vital that leaders learn how to build psychological safety in their teams, and they need to learn how to do it quickly. Again, that's by getting to know the team. It's by being real and raw and vulnerable yourself. You
Mhm.
have to be willing to bring your whole self to work.
And fast, quickly. So,
Indeed.
Miss Michelle, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review in sixth season. This year, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 is coming sixth season this year too. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101 fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 fourth season, and my baby podcast Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Michelle, if you had to distill automotive industry leadership secret into sentence, what would it be?
It would be take your whole self into the leadership role and welcome your teams to bring problems openly, honestly, and collaboratively. only then will you find success.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Michelle.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having me, Daniel.
Thank you, thank you. And can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or anything you want to promote on Book 101?
Oh, yes. Please visit me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is michelle.r.pippin, and there you'll find the latest of empowering leaders and all of the activities that we have going on there.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Michelle Pippin because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this will rise. So, Miss Michelle, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Morticon people, yes, Morticon people, see you soon.